It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The YouLike Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at youlike.com, because at YouLike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ULIKE.com, YouLike. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AmpPace.
AmpPace.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are coming to you live, that's right, in Central Texas. A lot to get to today. It's talking season, right? We were in attendance last week at Big 12 Media Days, and now we are starting, there you go, fix that. And now we've got our SEC Media Days, 4 days of SEC Media in Atlanta. My question is, like, how much of this stuff do people need, right? I guess they need a lot, because you can bet that I'll be sitting there waiting on all the tweets and the clips as to what was said, and is there a lightning rod for controversy coming our way this college football season. The SEC is where it's at. And Greg Sankey began his media availability yesterday with quite the clever remark. There's been a lot of talk about super conferences in college football. And Sankey just said, hey, those of you who are looking for or expecting super conferences or a super conference in college football, welcome to one. And that is how he began his remarks, or at least part of his remarks, at SEC Media Days, which I like, taking some shots at the Big Ten and the Big 12. Brett Yormark last week was pretty vocal at Big 12 Media Days, and that was a little bit of a, poking back a little bit by Greg Sankey, and I thought that was, I appreciate that. It is talking season, right, as we say. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovacics. You got to stop at Slovacics if you're in Central Texas and you are on the road, particularly if you're on 35. I always say Austin to Dallas, Dallas to Austin, Waco to Dallas. Stop at Slovacics. Say what's up to Ray. It is an experience unto itself. And the kolaches are something you're going to talk about for a very long time. And they'll bring you back, too, and we want you back in Central Texas. Socorro Family Ford, best deals you can find right now in Central Texas. They are located in West. And one of my favorite parts about Socorro Family Ford is you walk in there, and it's like a normal atmosphere. Like, there's not people jumping you the moment you walk in the door. It's not, like, slick. It's genuine. And the folks at Socorro Family Ford, there's a reason we partner with them. Extraco Bank, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. Where's my Daniel Stark cup? I must have misplaced it. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. Did Scotty? It's all right, Scotty. Oh, did I knock it over? That's all right, because in Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, we help you out with accidents, right? On the back end, and it looks like we just had one. All right. Hot topics, for lack of a better term. Maybe we can come up with one. By the way, Scotty Swingler's here with me. We'll be talking with him shortly. We're going to talk about Bleacher Report. They issued their top 100 NBA players list. And, of course, that creates all kinds of chatter and talk. And I don't love the lists, but this was Scotty's idea, and it was a hell of an idea. When Scotty is ready to produce a segment, I'm here. And he produced one this morning, and wait till you see it. I'm sure we'll go back and forth about our lists. Greg McElroy, yesterday, spoke about, on his show on SiriusXM, the fact that Nick Saban could potentially be coming back into college football. I should say coaching, right? McElroy said that he had heard from someone who was very reliable, and McElroy even went on to say, I'm paraphrasing, I wouldn't share this if the source wasn't extremely legit, and it was that Nick Saban would return to coaching. And it didn't say at what level, which led to a lot of speculation. Would it be the NFL? Would it be college football? Couple things off the top on this. I don't want Nick Saban coming back to coaching in a consulting role. He's way too good on College Game Day. I can't sacrifice the asset that Nick Saban is on College Game Day for him to be the passing game coordinator at TCU just because he wants to stay in it, And I hope that's not something we're headed for. Or even a consultant at the NFL level. I can't imagine that he would return to the NFL in an assistance role. But whenever you hear him talk about his experience coaching in the NFL as a head coach in Miami, now we're talking 20 years ago, it was not a good experience for himself, for Miss Terry. He's been very vocal about that just not feeling like the NFL fit, not being great for his family. So that moves me to think there's two places Nick Saban could plug right in. One in particular that, let's just put it this way. If I was Kyle DeBoer, how do you say his last name? Yeah, Kyle DeBoer. I got that right. If I was Kyle DeBoer, Alabama's head coach, huh? Yeah. If I was, that's his name, I would be shitting bricks. Sorry. So if I was Kalen DeBoer, I would be shitting bricks. I'll say it again. Apologize for getting the name wrong and putting your job in jeopardy in my fantasy land just so quickly here altogether. But that's the one place I would think to myself, well, that makes perfect sense, right? It's a situation where Saban can come right back in, parachute into a job, a city, a state, an environment where, like, boom, it's a well-oiled machine, right? And it also allows him to plug back in. Of course, there's been changes made, right, in the Kalen DeBoer era. But at the same time, I would imagine it wouldn't be that difficult to restore things to the way that they were under Nick Saban. You also have to think about just the support and the folks and the powers that be at Alabama. If they knew Nick Saban was available and thinking about coming back, that is when it's a tidal wave. Like, and I've been around situations like this before, like in the NBA in particular. If a coach who is a legendary coach, right, a storied coach, especially one with connections to a certain organization, okay, if he voices the fact that he would rejoin that organization, even if he does it in circles outside of that organization, right? But if whispers begin, you can bet that said organization, in this case Alabama, back in the day, let's say the LA Lakers with Phil Jackson, that's one I remember off the top of my head kind of being around, being at least adjacent to when I was working in the NBA, it would look as though Alabama would be the best place for him just to go right back in there, right? And the reason I mention that is because I don't know how Alabama operates, right? But like Board of Regents, whatever, president, athletic director, of course, like huge sway. But that's a place where if you find out that Nick Saban is on the market and you have another, call it lukewarm season with Kalen DeBoer, like all of a sudden you're like, let's just do this. And that's how this kind of stuff happens. And like, that is a situation where I think everything would make the most sense. And it reminds me, honestly, of when I was, I don't even want to say kid. I guess I was in my 20s or early 20s at the time. A big late night television host, late night TV follower, historian. I wouldn't say I'm a historian. I'd say I'm interested in it, right? But I love all that stuff. You know, the Jay Leno book about him getting the job at NBC, the Tonight Show job over David Letterman. I think it's called Night Shift. Great book. And then it was also turned into a movie. That stuff's just super interesting. But, you know, what's more interesting is when Conan O'Brien took over for Jay Leno. Started out to like lukewarm reviews. Leno actually did a show that was like a primetime show that was on before Conan at 10 o'clock, let's say Eastern time, and the Tonight Show's at 11:30. That show for Leno did just okay. Conan's doing okay. The network says to Jay, hey, you're struggling. Let's put you on right before Conan at 11:30 for a half hour, and then Conan will take over after that. And, you know, that's the audience he was having so much success with, Conan was. You know, that late night environment, right? Like 12:35 Eastern time start. And Jay Leno kind of voiced, oh, okay, like maybe I might do that. You know, he talks like this. Hey, I'll talk to Mavis. Maybe she'll do it, you know? So after that, everything starts to move real fast. And all of a sudden, you know, Conan says, no way, I'm not doing that. Conan's gone. Jay's back. It happens like that. Now, is Nick Saban, like, is he insecure like Jay Leno? No. Is he going to maneuver in the shadows like Jay Leno? Absolutely not. But if the powers that be at Alabama, whether in the athletic department or in the president's office or the Board of Regents or however they do it there, if they catch wind that Nick Saban is serious about coming back into coaching and there is a situation where Kalen DeBoer, isn't having an exceptional season, because that's what it takes at Alabama, being exceptional. If he's not having an exceptional season, and I don't know how we would handle this, but could you imagine like mid-season Alabama struggling and there's Nick Saban on the set of College Game Day with rumors abound that he could come back? That makes for great TV. And I think Nick Saban's too smart and too calculated in a real good way, just looking after himself, that I don't think he'd put himself or Alabama or Kalen DeBoer in that kind of situation throughout the year. I think he's the type of man that would be like, he would shut it down, like real emphatically, or you wouldn't see him on the show. And that's another thing. Like, I don't think so far in the coverage, like he hasn't been at SEC Media Days. He hasn't been a real part of ESPN's off-season college football coverage, which lends itself to, hey, maybe he is coming back. Lane Kiffin spoke yesterday. Maybe he is coming back. I mean, Lane Kiffin was certain, right? When he had heard that Greg McElroy had talked about this, a very legitimate source, right, when it comes to SEC football, connections to Nick Saban, you name it. And that McElroy went on the record saying that he wouldn't have shared it if he hadn't gotten it from a great source. Lane Kiffin's like, yeah, he's coming back. Like, I don't know how, when, where, but like he's coming back. And this is more than a monster of a story to keep an eye on, and I think it's more than SEC Media Days fodder. Again, Nick Saban's not Jay Leno, but it could turn into a situation where if he wants to get back into coaching, it's bigger than him. Because, okay, here you go. What if we gave you Alabama? Talk about plug and play when you're 74 years old, which is just how old Nick Saban is. That sounds pretty good to me. Bill Belichick is 72 right now as the oldest coach in college football. Kirk Ferentz is 69, and he's the second oldest. So he would be head and shoulders the oldest dude coaching in college football. And then you come down to this is why I don't believe he could coach anywhere else, or he will coach anywhere else, because navigating the forever changing and evolving road that is college football and NIL, although it seems like we're sort of getting those guardrails we always talk about around it, I just don't know that Nick Saban's up for that. That's why he's no longer coaching. So I can't wait to see how this plays out. Also, the one thing too, much like, and this goes back to the Jay Leno thing, Kalen DeBoer, he was coaching at Washington before he took the Alabama job. He is not like, I don't know how close he and Nick Saban are. And forgive me if they are super close, but I don't think that they are. So there's not like a real allegiance to DeBoer, right? And his coaching tree and his coaching career, where Nick Saban would be like, no, I can't do that to my guy. I can't come back. You see that all the time, right? Like a great, not all the time, but a great coach leaves, his coordinator or somebody takes over, and then people start to talk about, like if head coach were to come back and then coordinator were to bump down, everything could be restored to glory. And in this case, that wouldn't even be the scenario because there's no connection there. There was no affiliation as an assistant for DeBoer under Nick Saban. So when I saw that story, I was knocked on my ass because I love legends, and I love legends being front and center in college football, in any sport. So I would willingly, with open arms, with arms wide open, Scotty Swingler callback to one of his favorite bands.
With arms wide open.
Scott Stapp from Creed. Is that his name, Scott Stapp?
It is Scott Stapp. You did a perfect Jay Leno a second ago, so I had to give my best Scott Stapp.
You like that, huh? Even
I was
his wife's
losing it.
name in there?
I was
good,
losing
right?
it.
Mavis? All right, so also SEC Media Days, another destination for Nick Saban, if you want to continue to get out of control with this stuff, would be LSU. And a lot of talk yesterday about Brian Kelly. Is Brian Kelly on the hot seat heading into this year? And the reason we're talking about these schools is because these are topics that are simmering right now, because Paul Feinbaum and Heather Dinich, who are at SEC Media Days for ESPN, emphatically both of them shut down Brian Kelly being on the hot seat. The one thing that I took from what Brian Kelly had to say yesterday, there's one major thing. We talk about Baylor and all the success they've been having recruiting. LSU's been like knocking the cover off the ball. They just signed the number one recruit, Lamar Brown. I think that was last week, the number one in the country. And his recruiting classes, Brian Kelly's, have been exceptional. So that, I think, affords you a little bit more grace. And I think that is a big reason why Feinbaum and Heather Dinich were like, there's no way. Brian Kelly's not going anywhere. He did make I I thought it was a stretch when he said that Garrett Nussmeier has the opportunity to make the same kind of leap this year that Jaden Daniels made prior to entering the NFL and becoming the most talked about quarterback in the NFL last season. And I think that was a bit of a stretch. But, I don't really know enough about Nussmeier to kind of pick his game apart. I don't know enough about football to pick anybody's game apart, really. I always say, I played football, been around it forever, but I'm not a coach. I'm not a quarterback whisperer. So there's probably better people to talk to about Grant Nussmeier and his upside. But, man, comparing him to Jaden Daniels early in the season like that or before the season, I'm sure there is a coaching mentality behind that for Brian Kelly. Maybe it's to build confidence, but I don't love the move. So I thought that was high praise. Another thing about SEC Media Days, people are still talking about Hugh Freeze. We talked about it last week, playing golf. Played 10 rounds of golf in June alone, right? Big-time recruiting season as Auburn was struggling recruiting. So he got kind of dragged through the mud on that last year. He says he does not care. It does not affect how he is going to coach. But at 5-7 and 11-14 in his 2 years at Auburn, he better get it together. And now this kind of lends itself to a close to home story for us. I mentioned last week on the show that Baylor out of the gate is a 2.5-point underdog at home against the middling Auburn team. Okay, and now this stuff, the more and more we get closer, look, man, we're less than 50 days away from kickoff, right? So I'm really starting to pay attention to this Baylor-Auburn game. And even, first week one, LSU-Clemson, right? You're just starting to look at some of these games. And as I start to assess the situation, I don't see any reason why Baylor shouldn't beat the brakes off these guys, especially when you think about there's a little bit of weird controversy with this golf stuff. And now people are everyone the hot seat talk, right? The hot seat Hugh Freeze talk. Now, I don't know if they rally around him and pick up a huge win against a Big 12 opponent on the road to start the season off, but I would tend to think it's the other side of that, right? I would tend to think that Baylor can take advantage of the vulnerability around Auburn's program. And that is not even assessing the football stuff. That has a Baylor team returning 4 of its 5 offensive linemen, 2 of the best running backs, the best 1-2 punch in the country, right? In Bryson Washington and Dawson Prendergast, and one of the most exciting quarterbacks in college football with a wide receiving core. Yeah, and a linebacking core and a defense that I thought was a little sus, but now you got Dave Aranda saying it's the best linebacking core we've had here. And Jackie Marshall up front. A lot of reason to get excited about Baylor. One quick Baylor note as I was looking through the college football notes this morning. The Bears are they're according to On3, which by the way, those guys kick ass, dude. I got to just give a shout out to On3. They are. Oh, they do. They do a great job. Now, Scotty.
Wait. I'm sorry, because you've been preaching fire about how great Baylor's going to be. Oh, fixed it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to check. Did you see what happened to not only Baylor's top signees in their rankings in the past week, but to Rider Lions?
Are we talking about On3?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Is there
controversy?
By the way, this is a conspiracy theory, I believe. When recruits sign to Baylor, they plummet in the national ratings. It happened to Rider Lions as well. He is now a 4-star. Plummeted. I think he's the 10th quarterback in the class now. It's because he signed with BYU. We can do this tomorrow.
This is super interesting.
No.
Give me a couple more breadcrumbs.
Colt Barber was tweeting about this. So, London Smith, for example, here at University High School in Waco.
Yeah.
He was ranked the 50 overall player in the nation. Signed with Baylor, he's now 150. And it happened the same week. Colt Barber started tweeting at them yesterday, calling them out on Twitter it just happened to Jordan Clay. Just signed with Baylor over the weekend.
Now, this is all on On3?
Yes.
Any other scouting networks?
It's kind of notoriously happened on multiple sites for decades. I mean, this is a decade-old problem of the Baylor fan conspiracy stuff of, we sign a player, he's guaranteed to not get.
See, it's funny. I can say honestly, you're talking to a dude from the Northeast, where these
so
I've never paid as much college football as I've been involved in.
So let's do some research and do a segment tomorrow.
So why?
Maybe we could get Colts on tomorrow. I don't know. But when players sign with SEC teams going into their senior year, their rankings go up.
Really?
When players sign with Baylor and BYU's, who I've noticed it with specifically, and Rider Lions is the one that got me yesterday because I was seeing the Baylor guys drop, and I was kind of like, well, that's sucky, but okay. But then Rider Lions dropped a star and dropped behind like several other quarterbacks.
So is this like, look, in every controversy, it's like follow the money. Like what? So does this On3 and their support of the SEC and these power conferences is much more beneficial to them?
I'm saying that is a conspiracy theory that does exist,
and
I believe it.
And if our 4 stars and 5 stars sign with SEC teams, that celebrates our rankings more and more engagement from SEC schools.
Correct.
Yeah. But see, they're missing the mark with BYU because that's a rabid fan base.
Correct.
Okay.
Let's do it tomorrow, seriously, because I know we've got a lot of topics today, but I wanted to jump in as you're talking about On3 and say that this was stirring on X yesterday.
All right, cool. All right, well, we're going to come back. We're going to talk NBA Bleacher Report rankings, top 100. Scotty's got a list. I got a list. Will be some debates. And in our last segment, Caitlin Clank. That's a nickname now. I don't know. We're going to talk about it. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics, comes back after this.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoAAALusa.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level, while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
The Pete Sousa Show continues from the Alico building, 21st floor, high atop Central Texas. Quick note. So yesterday, obviously we were just talking about SEC Media Days. Diego Pavia, quarterback for Vanderbilt, who went 7-6 last year with the Commodores, obviously led them to that huge upset win over Alabama. He tweeted the reason he's coming back is to win a national championship. He tweeted this a couple hours ago. And he said, #JUCO product. And then right after that, an hour later, our own Ashton Hawkins, I say our own because we love Ashton, who has been sidelined by a mind-numbing decision by the NCAA because of his eligibility. Ashton just retweeted it with the quote, "No different." Free Ashton Hawkins. Scotty B, where you at, dude? All right, from one piece of drama to another. Top 100 ever. There was a list put together by Bleacher Report, and it didn't get past my man Scotty Swingler. I got a message yesterday afternoon. He said, I want to dive into this list tomorrow. I didn't know he was baiting me to bully me, which I found out this morning. So I put my list together. Scotty put his together. I do want to tell you that I hate this stuff. I hate it, and here's why. We are not qualified to put this list together. I am not worthy.
Speak for yourself.
To rank the top 20 players in NBA history as though I am some cigar-chewing, typewriter-hammering, like old-school Bob Ryan who just knows it all. I don't. But I've been around. I've seen a lot. And I've watched a lot of basketball. And I'm in this field. You know, I still don't think that I don't know. So I'd love to see the jokers who rank these for Bleacher Report. No knock on Bleacher Report because they're great dudes there. But you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to see who put the list together. That's all I'm saying.
So I think you and I are perfectly qualified to put this list together.
Why?
Because we are somewhere in between, Pete. You and I are far more knowledgeable than the average American sports fan.
Yes, of course.
We have probably watched more sports overall, more basketball than the average American sports fan. And we are not so snobby and up our own butt about our own opinions that we think we've got it all figured out.
Well, and I'll tell you this, and this probably isn't good publicity for the show, but I know enough. No, truly, I know enough to know that I don't know that much, right? Like, so that's all I'm saying. And I do have a very high bar when I listen to people that are going to break down the games of the greats. You know, like
sure.
I would much rather hear PJ Carlesimo talk to me about why Kobe Bryant wasn't as clutch as Steph Curry, as opposed to one Scotty Swingler. But here we are. So let's get started with this list. That's just like what do they call that? A preface or what do they call that? A disclaimer.
You want to put Bleachers up first?
Yeah, let's do the top 20, right?
Well, so you gave me 15.
Yeah, because
this morning,
20 is a lot. Like, by the way, let's not act like this. You could just throw a list like this together.
Oh, I did. I love making lists, though, and you don't, so we're different.
I feel, I think it's like a pressure thing.
So here's Bleacher Report's top 15. So they did 100. I have issues with some of the 100. We talked about that before the show this morning, but this is their top 15. No names in here that are really shocking.
Because it's yours?
No, this is Bleacher Reports.
Oh, okay.
This is Bleacher Reports, and nothing about this list is shocking to me.
Well, I'll tell you the one thing. Shaq was pissed that Steph was above Kobe, right? Shaq did say
I don't know. I didn't see what
yeah,
Shaq said.
Shaq said, like...
I'm pissed that you have Kobe above Steph, so...
Oh, there you go. Well, I got Shaq, so... And he doesn't even like the guy.
So my strongest opinion about my list is about Steph Curry, but that we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So that's Bleacher Report's list.
That's Bleacher Report's. You know, the one. Let me look real quick. Duncan is always a question to me, but I had him real high on my list too.
Yeah. So you'll see my list. I wanted to rank Duncan lower than I did, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Like you just can't. You look at how long he was so great, the championship teams he led. He's called the big fundamental because he is one of, if not the most fundamentally good basketball players, sound basketball players ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've got him there at 7. I mean, I know people that say he's top 5 and that he's underrated.
It's hard to argue.
Yeah, he has an argument. Yeah.
It's hard to argue. I guess that looks pretty good to me. I mean, again, at the bottom, you get to Oscar Robertson and Jerry West. Like, we didn't – look, and even up top for me, like Bill Russell – because he's high on my list. Like, it's tough because I didn't see these guys play. But I've seen a lot of footage. And
you know what they accomplished against their
I've read all the statistics.
peers.
And honestly, to the point, I will say this. Like, and I'm not pulling rank on anybody here, but, like, I literally, and I've forgotten a lot of this stuff because I was younger. I mean, I used to sit in Harvey Pollack's office. Harvey Pollack was the NBA stats guy. He created stats in the NBA. He literally wrote the 100 out for Wilt to hold up when he scored 100 points. He was an OPR guy for the Sixers. And Harvey Pollack's stats book before the season was
like half of America believes that didn't happen.
Okay, let's save that for another day. Because I literally used to sit and talk to Harvey about moments like that and about how much better Wilt was than anyone else in the game. So I'm prepared with arguments from one of the best of all time. Arguments I forget, and I'm not as knowledgeable as Harvey was on the Wilt Chamberlain stuff, obviously. But, like, I've been around it. I've been around people like that who have educated me on lists like this. And Wilt is a guy who I never saw play. But, like, unfortunately for him, you could say he just was constantly running into the Celtics and Bill Russell.
Yeah.
And so that gets tough to rank those two.
So the reason we both have those
Bill
two.
Russell, 11 titles. I think Wilt 1.
We both have those 2 on our list.
Or Wilt
right?
2. 2 for Wilt.
The thing about both those guys is if it's like two sides of it. It's like, well, if they played in the modern NBA, they'd suck. But it's like, okay, but if they played in the modern NBA with modern medicine, modern diet, modern working out, you think Wilt Chamberlain, who won high jump at Kansas, wouldn't have still been a monster? Like, he could have played in any era.
He's one of the guys that and I don't know that Bill Russell's that guy, but if you dropped him into the NBA today, I think like Wilt Chamberlain would be like, you'd be like, wow, guy's
I think Wilt
awesome.
would be a little soft at first. I think he'd have to he'd have to grow into like modern strength training and stuff, right? But yes, if he had the modern day luxuries, he'd be amazing. And I think the same about Bill Russell though. I do.
Well, and Wilt changed the game. Like, rules were changed because of Wilt.
Yeah.
Like, the way he used to shoot free throws, he would run and jump and just take off from the foul line and lay it in. So they made it so you couldn't do that. You
So
had to
crazy.
actually be still. You know, like, he kind of rewrote not just the record book, but the rule book. All right, let's get to your list. Your list or my list first? I don't care.
You said mine, so
right,
you
let's
want to
go
do
with
mine?
yours.
Okay, here's my list. So I have LeBron at 1. We've argued about that ad nauseum.
Okay.
If you put LeBron or Michael or Kareem, I think if you put Michael, LeBron, or Kareem at 1, I'm actually not pissed at you. That's fine. I get it. Here's my biggest take, dude, and I've had this take for a couple years now. Steph Curry is on the Mount Rushmore at the NBA. And to me, there's no debate. To me, the biggest chasm on this list is between 4 and 5. And in a game where the object of the game is to put a ball into a basket, the guy who's the best shooter of all time, bar none, by the way, nobody argues with this. You cannot find anyone who can intellectually say, oh, no, there's been better shooters than Steph Curry. Nobody in their right mind says that.
Yeah.
He is universally agreed as the best shooter. And I would argue he has changed the game of basketball more than anyone since Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I love LeBron James, but Michael Jordan made the NBA what it is culturally. Steph Curry has changed how all 32 teams play basketball.
Yeah.
He completely revolutionized the game, almost like you were just talking about Wilt doing, changing rules.
Yeah.
NBA teams completely changed roster construction and basketball philosophy because they all wanted to be Steph Curry.
Yeah.
He won 2 titles as the best player on a team.
Yeah.
And then he won 2 with Kevin Durant. And I just think like that, like he gets so much love from me from that. Okay. What else? Most of the rest of my list is pretty not controversial, except when we get to the bottom here. Dirk Nowitzki being like 19 on Bleacher Report's list is asinine. Okay? Statistically speaking, Dirk Nowitzki, one of the most clutch players of all time. You said it before the show. He could score from anywhere on the floor at will. Super underrated. He's underrated because he's awkward. His shot was goofy. Like, people don't see him as an incredible athlete. But if you remember, he beat the Miami Heat on like a drive layup.
Yeah.
And nobody could stop him.
Dirk was unbelievable. If you were, I just always go, that 2006 series, and then where they lost, right, because of some BS fouls, but whatever. And then when they beat the Heat, when you're in big games, and I just know this, I can just speak from actually like cheering for the Mavs when he was playing, or maybe betting on the Mavs when he was playing. Like, so really having skin in the game. Like when Dirk had the ball, I really felt like he was going to score. Like, I really felt like he was going to do what it took. And he was the kind of guy, even at his size, you could get him the ball anywhere on the floor, and you had to guard him right in his shirt. And a guy that size, that's not normal.
And I've argued with you, and I think he still has this argument, by the way. I think his 2011 finals run, and I said this when we were talking about Tyrese, is the greatest individual performance in any playoff.
Yeah.
He beat Kobe. Then he beat Durant, Harden, and Westbrook, like 4-2, by the way. It wasn't close.
Yeah.
And then he beat the Heatles. Without another superstar on that team. Jason Kidd was like a month from retiring. Tyson Chandler was past his prime.
Yeah.
Jason Terry was past his prime.
Yeah.
Dirk carried that by himself.
He did.
It was incredible. So I love Dirk, obviously. We'll argue about Kobe in a second, probably. Listen, I'm biased. I am wrong. But I think the most magical basketball player I've ever watched play besides LeBron James is Luka Doncic, so I had to get him in here. He needs to win a title. And I like Oscar. I think Oscar could play in today's game. So
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
He was doing the triple-double thing 4 decades before anybody else. Like, that guy, I don't know what his role would be in the modern NBA, but I think you could put him in the modern NBA and he'd be balling. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's another guy that really helped the game evolve. Changed the way it was played, changed the way it was defended. When I look at your list, the only guy on there in the top 10, and I'm just thinking out loud now, the only guy, because we talked about, we got 30,000 views on a video where we went through Magic Johnson and his definition of a superstar. People are obsessed with that. And Magic's definition is when you are a guy who can sell out.
Someone buys the ticket to see you
everybody
play.
On the road. Tim Duncan's the only one on this whole list, I think, that did not have that honor or did not earn it. I'm telling you.
I think you're right.
I don't care what anybody says. Like, nobody bought a ticket to go see Tim Duncan.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, that's why he's hard to rank.
Yeah.
Like, when you say superstar, I would agree. Tim Duncan is not very high on my list. But when you say best basketball player ever, I'm like, yeah, he's very high.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about superstar culturally. We're talking about the best to play the game.
I like how you had Dr. J at 20, I think.
I had him. Bleacher Report had him at 20. I had him at 17.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's underrated.
All right. Let's turn the page. Now
Boom.
You had a real problem with this.
Yeah, I do.
I'm here for questions. I mean, here's the. Let me walk you through actually first.
Walk me through it.
So MJ, we've talked about that. It's just, to me, there's just no doubt in my mind. LeBron, there's no doubt in my mind about that either. And I struggle a little bit putting Kareem and Bill Russell so high. But the fact of the matter is, they dominated, especially Kareem. Like, he dominated games. I mean, he was so influential. And this sounds so dumb to say, but like, so influential in the outcome of every game he played in, right? That's what a star does. But like, he really did that. I mean, even right now, like in the WNBA, right? We're talking about Caitlin Clark and how like she's going through this like horrible shooting slump and whatever. She's one of the greatest women's players of all time already. Okay. But like, Kareem never had a stretch like that. Like, Kareem, when you're a big like Kareem was, and you were so accurate shooting the ball, nobody scored more points than him up until LeBron broke his record like 3-4 years ago. And LeBron has played so many more games than Kareem. Kareem was just unbelievable. So that's why I have to put him.
That's why I said
at 3.
There's a fringe group that would say he's number 1, and I don't argue with you. Like,
Dude.
I get it.
Yeah, and Kareem, like, we remember him, or I remember him with the Lakers. Like, before that, he was more dominant with the Bucks. Okay, how about Bill Russell? Yeah, 11 titles. I just couldn't go anywhere else with it. Shaq, my memories of Shaq are just domination, pure taking over a game. How do you stop him? Oh, let's do hack-a-Shaq. Like, you're doing all these hunky-dory weird things to get him.
So talking about people that changed the game.
Yes.
The coaches are trying to find any desperate way to get that man off the floor.
We always talk, if I'm talking to a buddy who's like, man, I just can't, I'm just not good with directions. Like, I'm good at everything else. Like, and my girlfriend thinks I suck because I'm not good at directions. I'm like, hey, man, like, Shaq can't shoot free throws. Like, we don't have it all. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be things you're missing, even if you're perfect. Your issue with Kobe. Oh, no, let's talk about Wilt. Wilt, pure domination. Literally, if he wanted, 1 year he wanted to lead the league in assists, and he did. He wanted to lead the league in rebounds, and he did. Wilt's problem, and I think that folks that have come before me, and again, like the Harvey Pollocks of the world, Harvey's passed away, but if you could give him truth serum, Wilt's problem was he was addicted to the stats, and that I think screwed up his ultimate or the ultimate mission, which Pat Riley talks about. Like, let's keep the main thing, right? I think Wilt got away from that with Pat Riley or with the stats, and it just, I think it hurt him. Am I keeping you from something, Scotty? What's going on? Everything all right? Everything good? Remember, you're on camera. We got to keep an eye on this guy. He must be getting another invite to go back to the Zach Owen show, right?
Dude, it'll happen one day.
All right. So, but on to my list, and this is, Scotty had an issue with this. I wanted to wake you up for this one. Kobe Bryant. Now, you believe that there's no way Kobe should be in front of Steph.
Yeah, I want to be clear. My primary issue with your list, and it's why I went so hard about where he is on mine.
Yeah.
I cannot even begin to wrap my mind around someone thinking there are 11 basketball players ever better than the best shooter we've ever seen. That's my issues where you have Steph. It is articulated by the fact that you have Kobe Bryant so high, and if we had like an hour, I would challenge you to tell me any reason you have Kobe that high, and Steph has done it and done it better.
Well,
period.
I think that Steph was gifted just the absolute perfect supporting cast. Okay, just hear me out. Like, and his ability to adjust to that cast has been second to none. Right, like his ability to just work with everybody and stay in system with the different players is amazing. His ability to manage all the off-court stuff.
Okay, but he's not a system quarterback.
No, he's not. But he's also a guy that I don't believe can get it done like one-on-one by himself. I think he needs help. I do.
Okay.
I think he needs somebody to get him the ball so he can shoot it.
Okay, so
like he's great off the dribble, but I just think and here's one thing to your argument. Let me finish. Like when you talk about how good Steph is, if I was putting together a starting five that I was going to march, if the aliens landed and they were like, all right, Pete, everybody's in ice, like the dead guys. You can take them out, unfreeze them, and they're going to play the aliens. Obviously, current players, whatever. They'll be restored to when they were at their actual height of prominence. I would put Steph on the floor with my starting five because he's the best shooter of all time.
But he's the 12th on your list.
But as far as my list is concerned,
you're crazy.
I'm ranking everybody one by one. So I do want to say that. Like, Steph is on my starting five.
And Kobe's not.
Probably not.
All right.
Probably not. Yeah. So, I mean.
Okay.
Maybe that's a little face.
So this is where I want to.
And Magic's overrated. Don't get me started.
So two thoughts. There are some cultural narratives that are so deep in how we watch sports that we just believe them without investigating them.
Yeah.
One of those is Steph couldn't win a title without help. The other is Kobe is clutch.
Kobe did win a title without help. I mean, he won two.
You think prime Pau Gasol is not help?
I think I think.
Wait, simple question. Stop. Simple question.
Yes, I think
prime Pau Gasol.
He's overrated.
Would you have Pau Gasol or Draymond Green?
Well, but that's hold on.
No,
now.
it's okay.
What if I get Draymond and Kevin Durant?
Wait, I just want to be clear. Steph's best help you have ranked at 15. 3 of 5 of Kobe's titles best help you have him ranked number 5.
Yeah, and then he left. But then he left.
You just said Shaq is the most dominant player you've ever seen on a basketball court.
But then he leaves.
And what happened?
Kobe he wins 2 more titles.
Before Pau Gasol or with Pau Gasol?
2009.
With
Shaq's
Pau Gasol.
Gone. And then 2011.
With Pau Gasol.
Okay, but Pau Gasol he's not on this list.
He's in the top 30.
And that could be argued. I'm just saying Kobe, like really show the ability. He's been the one guy that was like, you don't think I can, and LeBron, really, but you don't think I can do it by myself? Watch this. Kobe did that. LeBron has done that going back to Cleveland. I don't see anybody else on this list who has done that off the top of my head.
Dirk.
Okay, Dirk. But Dirk, yes. Okay, Dirk.
Okay, so I would argue that the Warriors' first title run before they signed Kevin Durant and their most recent one in 23? They just won it?
They beat the Celtics, right? It was at 23?
Steph did not have nearly any other player on that roster that comes close to Pau Gasol or Shaquille O'Neal at that time. Maybe Klay Thompson the first time. Yeah. Maybe. But, yeah, you see, you're even going, Klay Thompson's not as good as Pau Gasol.
What about Klay Thompson with Megan Thee Stallion? Now we're talking.
That's a team. Here, let me.
Now all of a sudden, Klay's got that juice again.
Let me share these statistics with you because it's important to me. I got some of this from, if you want to read a really good article on this, so you know that this is a 15-year conversation, not a hot take from the 32-year-old.
No.
Henry Abbott wrote an article in 2011 called.
True used to be known as.
Henry Abbott wrote an article in 2011 called "The Truth About Kobe Bryant in Crunch Time."
And Henry Abbott's legit. I think he actually left writing about sports to work for the Grizzlies front office.
And it investigated what's called clutch shooting percentage, which is, I think the way he was looking at it was when you take shots to tie or take a lead in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant on such shots at that time, and I haven't seen an updated number because I just did this really quickly, was 31%.
Okay.
To compare, Steph Curry for his career is 52%. LeBron James for his career is 62%. Dirk for his career was 43%. Kobe Bryant, again, at least in 2011 when this article was written, 31%. So I just want to be clear. I think Kobe Bryant, I mean, he was on my list. Like, I think he's amazing. But I think he's not Mr. Clutch, which his reputation has earned. And he did not win a title without the best coach in the history of the sport and a second teammate who, by the way, he was Robin for 3 of those titles. And the 2 where he was Batman, I think we don't give Pau Gasol nearly enough credit.
Back to your clutch statistics. Like, Scotty, you're totally eliminating and forgetting about the fact that, like, in his rookie season with the Lakers, Kobe was taking the last shot. Like, as a rookie. Like, and honestly, he took 3 of them against the Jazz in that elimination game, missed them all. They were all air balls, right? That was a part of, like, his growth and his progress.
Yep.
Which a lot of times now, if you were to put together, like, okay, well, let's throw those out. Those 3 shots were garbage. But, like, that is an example of, like, Kobe was always taking the last shot. Kobe was always taking on all the responsibility, which is why he's an absolute killer, and I put him above Steph.
But Kobe, see, this is where I think we might fundamentally disagree. That does not mean you're a smart basketball player, and it doesn't mean it was the best basketball play. The reason I advocate for LeBron highly, and I'll say it about Steph too, they are capable of hitting that shot, but they're going to make the best play to win the game. I don't think Kobe jacking up all those shots when he was shooting 31% is the best basketball play or the best winning play.
And it's not, I mean, and look, I think with an open mind, it's not fair to this argument to say, well, that was part of Kobe's development to become one of the best players of all time. Like, that's not what this is about. You know, that's what I want to say, but I understand your point. I think we just disagree on this. I think that if I'm like in a game where I want somebody like taking a clutch shot or just like crushing somebody's soul, I want it to be Kobe Bryant. I would like the Mamba mentality. So there's Pete and Scotty. There it is, folks. Great job on the graphics, Scotty. And a great segment you put together for us today.
I like this graphic of your face. I think Mike Hamilton made that before I was ever producing.
He did,
the show.
yeah.
That's nice. So there it is. There's the side-by-side.
I had the Teen Wolf going. Yeah.
By the way, I had Durant at 16, so right outside, right next to where you have him.
Oh, here's one thing we want to talk about before we go to break. And it was funny because I was watching an interview yesterday where it was Charles Barkley on Dan Patrick last week, and this is why this dude was fresh in my mind. Charles was talking about how important it was when he was with the Sixers whenever they played the Celtics, even in preseason. It would be like this crazy, like, edgy atmosphere. And Charles's rookie year, he said he went up to Andrew Toney before, his Sixers teammate, and was like, yo, it's a preseason. And Andrew Toney was like, it's the Celtics, man. is the Celtics. Like, so that rivalry was huge. But then he said the other team they played where it was like psycho time was when they played the Lakers and Moses was on the team because Moses hated Kareem. He thought that Kareem got all the credit and that Moses was screwed over, one of the most underrated players in the history. And if you look at Moses' numbers, he won the MVP 3 times, dude. 3 times. His number is retired. I'm sure there's somebody else that has this, but I don't know. By both the Rockets and the Sixers. He made like 14 All-Star games. You could not stop him underneath. And he was sort of like in the mold of a Tim Duncan, where it wasn't like it wasn't a work of art. And it wasn't like the most explosive basketball you've ever seen. It was just completely a dismantling of the opponent. Yeah, Moses was unbelievable. And so that's one guy we didn't talk about. I had him 10.
Yeah, and I shared with you, I'm just uneducated.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to learn more.
And the reason you could say that Moses was not featured as, like we say now, like the face of the NBA or the face, because he had a terrible speech impediment. And he wasn't comfortable talking. And even in his later years, when I worked for the Sixers, we would have those legends back. And Moses would be there to celebrate the Sixers. He's getting paid and talk to the media, but he really didn't want to talk to the media because that's just Moses didn't want to do that. So it was fine. But so I think that there were some barriers in the way of him being that like darling, but I think he was the first guy ever to come right out of high school and be successful in the NBA. I mean, nobody else did that. So Moses is a special guy.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And I want to get to a couple comments, and then we can do Caitlin Clark before we go.
Okay.
First of all, you got some love for your list. Making the Coin says Pete's list is hard to argue against.
Thank you.
He agrees with you. He or she, I guess. I don't know. That's a car in the profile picture. And then Kevin Fisher said, this is why, and I missed when he said that, Iverson should be top 15. I know you love that as a 76ers
Well,
guy.
Kevin worked with Allen Iverson. He was a PR guy for the Sixers before I was.
He's still doing PR.
This is a guy.
He's still doing PR for Allen Iverson.
Yeah, well, this is a guy who Kevin is he is a guy that has the credentials to make a list like this too. But
who? Yeah.
So that's Iverson is another one. Iverson was higher on the list than I thought on the bleacher list.
I mean, if you're just talking give the ball to somebody and they can score at will, or how good were they at the game, like, he's incredible.
But then you go to the Olympics in 2004 and you have Iverson as like one of your guys with like Steph Marbury. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
So,
okay, here's my question. I'm curious because I was thinking about this as I went through this list too. Who are the basketball players who you think would be so much higher if it weren't for career injuries? And I know there's a lot.
I got one.
But the two for me that I think of, and they were both on Bleacher Report's 100.
I'm saying my first Bird. His back injury was like, I think it was debilitating for him.
I didn't even think about that.
And the back end of his career.
Because we rank him so highly anyway.
Yeah, I think Larry Bird is a guy who I think he would be ranked even higher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The two for me, and I've watched both these guys, Tracy McGrady and Kawhi Leonard. Those are two players that I think would be borderline top 10 if they hadn't struggled with injuries. Could do everything on a basketball court.
That's a good one.
Like, I think Kawhi Leonard is like sneaky underrated.
But I always think, dude, and again, this is another thing we talk about forever. Like, and I can be a prick about this. Like, look, I was supposed to play college football, and I had a heart problem. I could not play.
Yeah.
So I am the injury guy, okay? Like, sucking up a scholarship for 4 years didn't pay. Like, if you gave a shit about Richmond football and you were into the details, you'd be like, let's get rid of that guy. But injuries, like, your best ability is your availability. Like, if you can't play, then you're not any good. Like, that is to me, and I just said Bird, so, like, I'm guilty too. But, like, that is a part of the makeup of a star. I don't want to hear about he's hurt. Like, that is a skill set unto itself. Do you disagree?
It's a skill set and it's bad. I mean, it's bad luck. Like Paul George's injury.
Okay, well, bad luck is like, I lost a job because I had bad luck.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? It's in life.
No, I was just.
And you lose enough jobs.
It's just a fun question for me.
Yeah.
Of like, who's the guy you wish you could have seen play without injury?
Yeah.
For me, it's those two.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I think you're right. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Talk about.
No, I just had one quick point I wanted to make about Caitlin Clark because I saw some. I like to talk about Caitlin Clark. One, because there's a market for it. Two, because she's super interesting, like super interesting, and it moves the needle. I mean, you guys love it or hate it. Either way, it can be a little hyperbolic. But I saw that online people are calling her Caitlin CLANK because of how terrible she's been shooting the basketball recently, like a 5-6 game stretch where she's made like 4 threes and missed like 42. But the Fever are actually winning, and her assist numbers are up. Winning plays is what Scotty just talked about, right? That's what makes a great player great. Deferring to other members of your team, getting them involved. The reason that we give Caitlin Clark a hard time is because we feel like she steals all the love, right? She just everybody in the media just glazing Caitlin Clark nonstop, right? And if people want to talk to Angel Reese, they've got to talk to her about Caitlin Clark. The truth of the matter is, like, Caitlin Clark wants nothing to do with any of this. And her play on the court speaks to that. How unselfish she is, how she's not, like, almost, I'll say, to a fault, right? Like, she should, and she has tried. The numbers illustrate she's been struggling. But, like, she's just got to keep shooting and shoot herself out of this slump, right? Like, if I was Caitlin Clark, truly, and I was the face of the WNBA, because I am, by the way, I would be launching a shot every time I crossed half court because this is my game. This is my league. Damn everyone else. I'm going to work my way out of this slump, win, lose, or draw. And nobody's going to take me out, right? But she doesn't do that. She continues to defer and make winning plays, which is why she is as good as she is and why the Fever are now starting to make a push. All-Star game coming up this weekend at Indiana. Perfect time for a celebration of women's basketball. It's a great time to be a women's basketball fan. Let's not get it twisted. And I'll also say one last thing. The Athletic polled 40 players in the WNBA, and they said, who will be the most influential or the face of the game in 5 years? It was overwhelmingly Caitlin Clark. Like, so if we're going to talk about, and these are players that voted. If we're going to talk about players, taking a dump on Caitlin Clark when they do the All-Star votes or whatever, let's talk about the reality that these players are getting behind her and making educated decisions on her actual impact on the league. Not everybody is working through some big resentment with her that's playing in the WNBA. All right, tomorrow we'll be back. We're going to have Murph Barton is going to talk about the British Open. And then before that, Scotty's got a huge guest for us, correct? Oh, what time? 11:30. Oh, 11:30. So it'll be Murph. And then that's right. You told me all this. I know. Thursday. We'll run it Thursday. This is like talking to Christy. I told you about that. I'm like, all right. Everybody have a great rest of the day. Slovakics! Woo! Thank you. See you tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.